There are faces in history so striking, so unforgettable, that they transcend the ages. One of them is Nefertiti, a woman whose beauty defied time itself, a queen whose power and ambition helped reshape a civilization. Today, we journey back to the golden sands of ancient Egypt, to a time when gods walked among men, and a radiant queen left a mark that would never fade. This is the story of Nefertiti, the eternal symbol of beauty, power, and mystery. Ancient Egypt, a land of soaring pyramids, eternal rivers, and unfathomable wonders. In the 14th century BCE, under the sun's burning gaze, a new era was about to unfold. And from its brilliance emerged a young girl. Her name, Nefertiti. Her name meant, "The beautiful one has come." A prophecy carried in a single word. We know little for certain about her origins. Some scholars believe she was born into a noble family, perhaps the daughter of a high-ranking advisor at court. Others whisper she was of royal blood herself. But whatever her true birth, there was no denying one truth. Nefertiti carried within her a beauty, a presence, a destiny that few could match. As a young woman, she married a prince named Amenhotep IV, a man destined to change Egypt forever. And with him, Nefertiti would rise not just as a queen, but as an icon for the ages. Their union would ignite one of the most radical revolutions the ancient world had ever seen. When Amenhotep IV ascended the throne, he and Nefertiti dared to challenge the gods themselves. They abandoned Egypt's ancient pantheon, 1,000 years of tradition cast aside, and in its place, they worshipped a single deity, Aten, the radiant disk of the sun. It was a staggering break with the past, a spiritual revolution on a scale never before attempted. And Nefertiti was no passive consort. She was his partner, his equal. In carvings that survive today, we see her standing proudly beside the pharaoh, wearing the tall blue crown normally reserved for kings, wielding the symbols of authority in her own hands, participating in sacred rituals once closed to women. Nefertiti wasn't just a queen. She was a co-ruler, a living goddess. Together, they built a new capital city, Akhenaten, horizon of the Aten. There, life blossomed anew. The art of the period shifted dramatically. Gone were the stiff, formal portraits. In their place came vibrant, lifelike depictions, scenes of the royal family laughing, playing, loving under the warm gaze of Aten. It was a golden age of sunlight, intimacy, and hope. And at its shining heart stood Nefertiti. Throughout history, beauty has been a form of power, and Nefertiti wielded it like few ever have. Her legendary face, smooth, symmetrical, serene, captured imaginations across millennia. In 1912, archaeologists unearthed her painted bust in the ruins of Amarna. It was a discovery that stunned the world. The bust portrayed a woman of sublime elegance, graceful cheekbones, a slender, regal neck, eyes alive with a spark of mystery. And yet, one eye was left unfinished, a blank space where life should be. Scholars have debated the reason ever since. Was it simply incomplete? Or was it a symbol, a deliberate gesture toward the mysteries that still surround her? Today, that bust rests in Berlin's Neues Museum. Visitors come from every corner of the globe just to catch a glimpse. And as they gaze into her ageless face, they feel it. The undeniable presence of a woman who, somehow, is still very much alive. After Akhenaten's death, the records grow silent. Nefertiti seems to vanish. But did she? Some historians believe she took on a new name, Nefertiti, and ruled Egypt in her own right. Others suggest she died young, her reforms quickly reversed by a panicked priesthood. Still others imagine darker fates: exile, assassination, oblivion. The truth remains elusive. What we do know is that in the power vacuum left after Akhenaten's death, a young boy was placed on the throne, Tutankhamun, a child king destined for both glory and tragedy. Was Nefertiti guiding him from behind the scenes? Was she ensuring the survival of her bloodline even as the old gods were restored? The answers may lie in the sands of Egypt still, in tombs yet undiscovered, in corridors lost to time. In 2015, a tantalizing clue emerged. Infrared scans suggested hidden chambers behind the walls of Tutankhamun's tomb. Could they conceal Nefertiti's final resting place? The world waits, breathless for an answer. Until then, the Queen of the Sun remains a figure of endless wonder, a ghost haunting the edges of history. "3,000 years have passed, and yet Nefertiti's name still rings like a bell across the ages. She was more than beauty, more than royalty. She was a symbol of daring, a woman who challenged the very foundations of her world and paid the price. Today, her image graces everything from paintings to poems. She is a muse for artists, a mystery for historians, a beacon for dreamers. Nefertiti reminds us, true beauty lies not just in form, but in courage, in conviction, in the fearless pursuit of a vision. Even now, as the desert winds sweep over forgotten tombs, her spirit endures, and in every shimmering sunrise, it is as if she smiles once more. The face of Nefertiti, so elegant, so enduring, was not carved merely into stone. It was etched into the soul of humanity, a queen who refused to fade into the shadows of history, a woman whose light, though ancient, still burns bright. And perhaps, in the quiet moments when the sun kisses the horizon, you can still hear her whisper through the sands, "I am here." Thank you for joining us on this timeless journey.